Good night. I just smashed my own hand in the car door. I don't know if you can see that. Who wants to see me put this plow on this car? Doesn't matter. I want to see me do that. It's not quite sitting flat. I'm gonna have to pull this off and take it on the vise and bend it. I tell you what, sometimes being a pack rat is awesome. I needed 7 inches, it's exactly 7 inches, so that's crazy. This whole thing is just working out way better than expected. Alright, there it is, rough layout. This will bolt to the front of the car where I drilled those holes. This will bolt to the subframe. Slight problem, they're off by like a 1/4 inch from center. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Just heard something scraping, and out of that little hole, a mouse stuck its head. Must be living in the eave of the garage. And I got it looking over here. There's another one, and that's fresh. Looks like I'm gonna have to get a trap out here. Alright, something I said in the last video, I think it was the last video or a couple videos ago, I said that I just wing these things, I don't really plan them. I need to clarify, it's not entirely true. It is, but it isn't. I get these harebrained ideas, and it does take a couple weeks of somewhat planning, somewhat ordering parts and stuff. You know, I don't really just think of it in the morning and then go do it that day. Like, there is an element of planning into some of this stuff I do. But there are a lot of unknowns and a lot of mysteries and things I don't even think about. And one of them is what I'm working on now. I have to bolt this to the subframe. The subframe is basically a tube. Let's use this for an example. It's basically like a tube like this, but it's bigger. There's no opening. There's a few holes in it from factory. So if I want to bolt something to it, there's no real good way to do it. They make these things called riv nuts, which are nuts that are, they go in there, you got a special tool, spreads them out, they go to the hole, and then you have a nut for that hole. Like if you don't have access to get in, if this is big, there's no access, there's just a hole. But they also make a thing called an L bolt, I think is what it's called. I don't know the purpose of it or what it's used for exactly, but I was thinking that I got this rod. I got this rod from scrap pile. I believe it's a 1/2 inch. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend this in a 90, and then I'm gonna thread one side of it, and then that will go in through the hole, and then when I go to tighten the nut, it'll catch itself on the body of that subframe. And I think it's going to work really good for bolting this on. But I'm going to cut a couple of these, thread a couple of them, and see if we can get it to work. It worked, kind of. I think this might actually be like a 7/16 or a metric sized rod. So the 1/2 inch did work. And I had a 1/2 inch nut here that I tested it with. It goes on, no problem. Feels a little loose. I don't know about torquing it down, getting it real tight. We may have to come up with another idea, but yeah, we can go with this one for now. Alright, pretty much a failure on that. I put a bolt on it and I cranked it down and it just stripped right out, so that's not gonna work. But I have raided the neighbor's scrapyard and I found a little bit thicker of a rod, so I'm gonna try cutting that one, doing the same thing. I got a 5/8. I also have a 9/16. I think 9/16 is going to be too small, 5/8 is going to be too big, but I think if I shave it down I may go with the 9/16. Give it some good meat to grab onto. Oh yeah, got ourselves a winner on the 5/8 one. Now I just got to drill out all the holes to work with 5/8 bolts. One done. 3 more to go. Alright, there's all 4 of them. That would have been a lot quicker and easier on a lathe. If anybody's got a lathe laying around they want to donate to the cause, hit me up. Probably would have been quicker just to go to town and buy the right stuff anyway, but they're done. Now I gotta figure out if I have nuts and washers and lock washers for it. So, alright, we're on the home stretch. This is either gonna work perfectly or it's not gonna work at all. But either way, we're gonna learn something about this. I'm excited. A few more steps and we'll know. Well, another lesson learned. Make sure there's nothing in the way for when this goes in and this turns. Turning this way, turning that way. Make sure there's nothing in the way, because this goes in and it hits something. This one over here is perfect. This one is hitting something. Doesn't quite go in, so now I gotta figure that one out. That didn't work. Well, you live some, you learn some. Yeah, the original plan didn't work, so I went and got a bigger boy drill bit, just drilled all the way through. I didn't want to do that. That was never, I don't know, I just didn't want to do that, but that's what we ended up doing. And because I'm a pack rat, like I said earlier, I just so happened to have the right bolts length laying around. Just so happened to have some nylocks that work with it. laying around, so yeah, it's coming together. Step 1 complete. On to step 2. Hopefully you can see this and hear me, but little update. None of my plans are working out, and that's totally cool, because I don't mind. So the original holes that I was going to go into aren't working, and that original L bolt design that I was going to do is not working. But Dodge conveniently has these, a little bit farther back, has these weld through sleeves, and the top side is threaded. I don't remember what goes in there. When I put this on, I don't remember. I think it's the rack and pinion bolts to that. And yeah, I just so happened to have an end mill, and I just got done threading this one. Worked out great. Threaded this, so it's gonna move it back a little bit, but that's fine. We can accommodate for that. I'm gonna get this one's finished threading. I'm gonna finish threading this one, and then I'll be able to put that C-channel right here, and I think everything's gonna work out great. So change plans a little bit, but still rocking and rolling. They say measure twice, cut once, but I measured 40 times and I still messed these holes up about half a dozen times. So I'm glad I actually had 2 of these, because I ended up messing it up and tossed this one anyway, and I used the other one and it worked. So yeah, I got everything mounted up, everything good to go. I got a mess to clean. But yeah, well, last step, gotta throw the plow on, make sure it doesn't hit anything, goes up and down. So let's do that. Not gonna lie, it needs a little bit of trimming, but that almost slid perfectly on. That was better than expected. That was awesome. Success. up, buddy? Wow, that's a big one.